Hi, I'm Greta,
Hi, I'm Millie,
and you're listening to the Books We Meet in the Library.
a bookish podcast about reading and the book community.
Millie, what are you currently reading?
So, I just started a new book, as in, I just read like the first two chapters. So, I don't know how I feel about it yet, but
Okay.
it's called Erotic Stories for Punjabi Women by Bali Kaur Jaswal. And this
Okay.
is like a contemporary chick lit book. Essentially, it's like a
Mm.
woman who's part of the Punjabi culture who lives in London. She's in her
Hmm.
early 20s and she's trying to find a job. And so she gets a job at a community center to teach a creative writing course for a bunch of Punjabi widows.
Oh,
And they
this sounds
basically
so fun.
they find a book of smut basically, and they're like, "We want to learn how to write this." And so she teaches them how to write smut.
That sounds like so much fun.
Mhm.
That's
It's
cute.
definitely
I'm here
a
for it.
wild card. I haven't read something like this before, but I think
Okay.
I think I'm gonna like it.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. What are you reading?
Quite the opposite of you. I'm reading Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Basterica. I am finishing it this month. I'm hoping to finish it this month. Yes. And then I'll have
I
finally finished that book. Oh my God.
I definitely think that that's gonna be a book you would like, just because it definitely falls into the category of just the unhinged vibes.
Yeah.
Um, some slight cannibalism because apparently that seems to also be one of your buzzwords.
Love cannibalism. No, so I'm almost done with it. I only have like a couple. I have like a couple chapters left. Nothing too crazy. Honestly, I could finish it in like 30 minutes. Sit down. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I mean, definitely like it. It's written from the POV of a man, which is never my fave. I was gonna say always problematic. It's never my fave.
Mhm.
So I'm like excited to be out of that headspace. But besides for that, I'm really enjoying it. The story is fascinating, and like it's gotten to like a climax, right? So I'm waiting to see like it unravel, and I'm like, ah, I'm excited though.
I feel like based on the premise, this book is just gonna have like a really wild ending.
Oh,
Um
it better, but like what we've set up so far, it better have a wild ending, or else this payout will not be good. So
mhm.
we'll see. But
Okay, let's
okay,
talk about what we are reviewing today because we
I'm
have
so
This Is How
excited.
You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Mohtar.
Hmm.
This is a sci-fi. It's not a novella. It's like it's a short book. It's roughly around
Hmm.
200 pages, and it's also sapphic.
Hmm.
And this is definitely, I guess, kind of a little bit both of our comfort zones, I would say.
Yeah, this is I don't read sci-fi. I don't
Mhm.
even really I'm not that privy to even like fantasy. So sci-fi is definitely out of my comfort zone. And um the way that this book is written was also incredibly out of my comfort zone. The like writing was out of my comfort zone, but I did grow to love it. But yeah, definitely not something that I would pick up right away. This book is really difficult. I don't know if you found this to be the case, but I did try to read it on audiobook. I tried to listen to it on audiobook, and it's very very
Mm.
difficult to just listen on audiobook. I needed to have like the book in my hand, either following along or like just reading the book, because a lot of the times I found the writing style to be very like daunting.
Mhm.
But yeah, have you read
Okay.
anything like this before?
No. No.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I finished this book like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Mhm.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute for me. When did you finish it?
Last night at midnight.
That's not a good thing. Okay. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Okay, so we're gonna do a spoiler cover to cover review for this.
Oh, I'm
Okay, so we're
scared.
we're we're jumping into all of it.
Yeah,
And
spoilers
we're also
now.
before jumping into it, we're gonna do the Call rating system, which was created by G from Book Roast.
Mhm.
So if you guys don't know what that is, it is a rating system with 7 different categories. We have character, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. We rate it from
Mm-hmm.
1 through 10 for every category, add them up, average it out, and we get our star rating. And this is a chance for both of us who have not talked about the book to start to get a glimpse into what the other person has thought about this book. So, we're actually going to do something a little bit different that we haven't done on the podcast before. And Greta has no idea what I'm talking about because I'm blindsiding her with it. Um, so we're only gonna get Greta's Call Pal rating for this book because I have decided to make it a non-rated book. I'm not giving it a rating.
What?
Yeah. And I
Wait,
usually only do that for like really
not for
bad
like
trashy
biographies
limited books.
or
Yeah, but
biographies.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh
And this is my
God.
first non-rated book of the year too.
Okay, I need to know why.
Um if it wasn't for this podcast, I would have DNF'd it.
No way. Did I just give you the worst book of the year? 3 times in a
No.
row? My third year,
No.
my third year streak.
We haven't done next week's episode. I don't know about that yet.
Next month we're reading Emily Henry. Don't worry.
Okay. Here's the thing. You already hit your quota for this year because you recommended Ministry of Time, and that's a 1-star book, and that is
was
most likely
bad.
gonna be
Okay,
my
that's
least
fine.
favorite book of the year.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll
I
take it. I'll
here,
take
okay.
it.
Here's
I
the
will
thing.
take it.
I didn't hate this book. I did not
Okay.
hate it, but
Okay.
very quickly on, I realized, oh, this is just not the book for me. Like, I am not the target demographic for this. I will not appreciate it the way that so many other people have like absolutely loved this book and gone feral
Okay.
over it.
Okay.
That
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just not the reader for this book. So if I rate it based on my enjoyment, it's going to be like a really, really low rating. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that because objectively it's not a bad book. I just didn't like it. And I just didn't enjoy the reading experience.
Okay.
But I don't want to be going on Goodreads giving this like a 2-star because that also doesn't feel right.
Okay. I can tell you exactly why you didn't like it. I can tell you exactly why you didn't like it.
Please tell me.
This book gives you zero fucking context.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea where you are, what is going on, what the point is. You have no idea what the war is about. You have no idea about the structure of this, like, of their powers, because they have some powers. You have zero idea. You are just not even thrusted. You are catapulted
Mm-hmm.
into this world where you're just assumed to know everything that's going on, or you just take everything at face value. I'm sure that gave you mad anxiety and you were like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes.
I knew
100%.
it. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, Millie's gonna fucking hate this, because even I was getting frustrated with it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where am I? Who am I reading? Like, it was, I totally understand and totally get that yes, valid, because this, much like Bunny, Bunny had more structure than this. This, yes, Bunny has more of like a path and bounds to their reality. This book, you have no idea what the fuck is going on. You have zero idea what's going on. You don't know. You just have that sums it up. You have no idea what's going on, and you're not guided. No one holds your hand while doing it. No one. You're just kind of like, well, it is what it is, and I'm just gonna take it at face value and move on. Which I had no issues, 0
Mhm.
issues doing it this way. I knew that you were gonna have problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
okay.
that being said, let's go into your star ratings because I feel like you're actually going to have more of like the popular vote, like how
Okay.
you interpreted the book, and maybe your
Mhm.
enjoyment is kind of more in line with what the common folks, the more
Okay.
popular vote has for
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Okay, Greta. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. What'd you give it for character?
For character, I gave it a 9.
Dun. For
Mhm.
atmosphere, what did you give it?
For atmosphere, I gave it a 9.
For writing, what did you give it?
For writing, I gave it a 10.
For plot?
I gave it an 8.
For intrigue?
I gave it a 9.
For logic?
I gave it a 7.
Thank God. Okay, for enjoyment, what'd you give it?
I gave it a 10. So
Mhm.
my overall, I have an 8.85, which is equal to a 4 star, but I am pretty sure I am giving it a 5 star.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew for some reason, like as soon as I started like reading it, I was like, oh, Greta's gonna love this. She's gonna love this. It's gonna be 5 stars. It's gonna be one of her new favorite books of the year. And I'm gonna struggle to not give it a 2 star. Um,
No, honestly, if I was like, I was going through these and I was like, what would Millie give it? For character, I feel like you would give it like a 7, if that. For
mhm.
atmosphere, you would definitely give it like a 5 because you had no idea where you were at any time. For writing, I think you would be generous and you would give it like an 8. For
Uh-huh.
plot, you would give it like a 3, maybe. For
Yeah.
intrigue, you would give it like a 4. For logic, you would give it like a 2. And
Hmm.
for enjoyment, you would have given it like maybe like a 4 or a 5. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking your rating would have been.
Yeah. That's pretty close to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
I
think for me, honestly, the writing, I had such a hard time thinking about what to even rate it because it's like, okay, yes, it's purple prose and yes, it's pretty, but if I have to reread the same sentence 5 times in a row and still be like, what? Then is it doing the goal of like
what it
communicating the message
yes.
correctly?
Mhm. I totally understand. Yeah. So, I mean, we can get into it. We should probably just do a summary
Hmm.
and then we can get into the writing style because I feel like that is the biggest thing that we can
About this book.
chat
Yeah.
about. Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So,
so content warnings. We got profanity, we got violence, gore, murder, loss of life for both animal and humans, disease, and some light stalking. The current Goodreads rating is a 3.86, and that's actually a little bit lower than I thought was going to be for this book. I thought this was going to be like a 4.0 or
oh,
4.1.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. It's definitely not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. If you're an audiobook listener, this is not a book for you. You really need to
No.
like sit down with this book and like you need to be prepared to like Millie said reread even what I deem you to be like a very intelligent, very experienced reader, especially maybe of this type of writing. I you still need to like sit down and like kind of focus, which is something that
Hmm.
I enjoyed. But we can get into it later. All right, so Goodreads reading synopsis. Among the ashes of a dying world, an agent of the Commandant finds a letter. It reads, "Burn before reading," thus beginning an unlikely correspondence between two rival agents hell-bent on securing the best possible future for their warrior factions. Now, what began as a taunt, a battlefield boast, grows into something more, something epic, something romantic, something that can change the past and the future. Except the discovery of their bond may mean death for each of them. There was still a war going there's still a war going on after all, and someone has to win that war. Okay. So off the bat, what did you think of the synopsis?
Okay, so based on the synopsis, it doesn't really give you much. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
give me anything more than I had already heard, which was basically that there were these two characters that were on opposing sides. It had a lot to do with time travel, so I figured that it was going to be a little bit complex because we're dealing with a lot of like interdimension traveling and just confusing timelines.
Mm-hmm.
They always refer to the characters as red and blue, and so I knew that they weren't going to have like their names,
Mm-hmm.
properly mentioned in the book. And everybody said it was a sapphic romance. And so a lot of it has to do with them leaving letters to each other. So I was like, okay, this is going to be like kind of a slow moving book, even though it's short. And it's going to be more just based on like the characters, like interactions and like their letters and how they send them to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if it was going to be the type of story where they directly interacted with each other or if the
Mm-hmm.
entire book was just going to be like letters back and forth to each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of both,
Yeah, a little bit.
somewhat. Yeah.
So this whenever I kind of like knew vaguely what this was about. This was one of the books that I kind of had my eye on for a while, and instantly I was like, "Oh, Romeo and Juliet.
Mm,
That's what we're getting at. That's what we're getting
yeah.
at." So my joy whenever I began reading it and it was written in such a like dramatic way, I was like, "Oh, this is for me. This is for me. This is for me."
It's
I
honestly a
yeah.
tragedy. It's a tragedy
It's a
play.
tragedy. No, it
Mhm,
definitely is. It is definitely a play. And the way that it is written also would give very good for like a play.
mhm,
Because okay, we can talk about this now. The way that the book is set up, or is written rather, it's a chapter where you are in one character's POV, and then they find a letter and they read that letter, and that's the letter from the opposing character. Next chapter, you're in the other character's POV, typically find a letter, they read the letter, and it flips back and forth, with the exception of a few times when there are more than one letter being written, or there's more story that needs to move along. That's kind of how it goes, and it
mhm,
is disorienting because the chapters aren't like named after the character you're in, and you don't really know whose POV you are experiencing things through until you get to the letter, which
mhm.
is very disorienting because you'll be reading a chapter and then you'll be like, okay, I don't know whose POV I'm in. And then the next one will be like, Dearest Scarlet. And then you're like, okay, so I was reading, so all of this was done by Red. Red is who was experiencing this, doing XYZ action, and now is reading a letter from Blue. So that was a little bit like disorienting. But I loved it. I it was so
I mean, I had
good.
a feeling because it was definitely giving off like huge Romeo and Juliet vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the first part of like the setup for everything here.
Okay, okay, yes,
Okay.
yes, 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 yes. Part 1.
So, Red and Blue are rival agents on opposite sides of the Time War. So, their job is to move through these time braids and weave and unweave history to help their side secure the future they want. So, I really do like the setup of how they're like opposing sides. They're basically like
Mhm.
two like secret agencies
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
are like working in the shadows to
Mhm.
manipulate events in history so that they win in the future. And the idea behind that is brilliant. So, Red Side is the agency, which is a technological superior society where they've engineered out most human needs like hunger and sleep. The future they want is filled with elaborate technology. On the flip side, we have Blue Side, which is called the Garden, and it's a nature based society where abstractions like words are considered dangerous. The future garden serves the hive of their people. So both sides have eliminated the concept of the self in service to the greater community identity. At first, Red and Blue blindly support their sides while taunting and probing each other through letters in secret. But even as they work to undo the threads the other has woven in time, they ultimately end up undoing each other and falling in love. Their letters become regular and passionate, and they confess their love to each other. The war just ends up being a backdrop for their relationship, just a place where they meet rather than their original purpose in life. So, the first, I want to say like 40% is just this setup of getting the back and forth interactions. And at first,
Mhm.
the letters are coming off as more of like a taunting nature. You
Yeah.
know, like they know their enemies and they've kind of like seen each other's like time signatures
Mhm.
and are just kind of like leaving the letters to just be kind of like sneaky and coy with each other.
Mhm.
So how'd you feel like with their original interaction where like no romance has butted, it's just like I see you kind of vibes?
It was so flirty, even from the get-go. This book really likes to, I guess, or really messes with they're like the difference between love and hate is very, very small. The real difference is between love and like dismissing someone.
Hmm.
That's like the real differences. This book messes with that a lot. The intensity at which these two people have been chasing each other through time, trying to one up each other, trying to change time, is they're literally like obsessed with each other. And during this point, they're obsessed with each other in like defeating each other. So this first part, I was like, this is very much like a game of chess. They're just trying to one up each other and trying to like strategize and get ahead. Their banter was so delicious, and it was so like passionate. Even though they were on opposite sides, they were still so passionate about each other and towards each other. I was like, this is the real enemies to lovers that I need. Okay. They hate each other. They're on opposing sides. They're fighting against each other, but they still have this like yearning to like mock each other, to taunt each other. And they do so in a way that is so like tongue in cheek, very coy, because they know each other so well and they know their patterns so well that I was just, oh my God, I was living for it. Really? I loved it.
Okay, this is where my cynical hat comes in because
Okay.
I didn't like the romance for this book.
What?
I didn't believe the romance at all.
You're insane. I have never read a book where I'm like, these characters yearn for each other. So, like, what are you talking? Please explain. Please.
Welcome to my ASMR review of hating this book.
Okay. I will be listening promptly. Please. What if we do an entire episode of just whispering?
That would be so funny. Of just
That
having
would be
okay,
so
if
funny.
if you guys want that, let us know in the comments down below.
What if we just turn into an ASMR podcast where we should do that next April Fools.
Greta, there's no possible way we can do that because the way you laugh screeches.
I have to edit out all of my peaks all the time because I'm such a loud bitch. There would be no way. All of a sudden, we would be reading like a romance, and I would just scream at the top of my lungs whenever the character does something like insane. Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Okay,
So, okay, tell me what you hated, please.
I okay. Maybe
Girl,
it's because
spill.
okay, maybe it's due to the fact that we didn't get to see their in-person interaction with each other, because I think if we had that, it might have changed it a little bit for me. Okay. There's only actually like 2 scenes in the entire book where they are physically interacting with each other. They're like in the same room.
Yes.
Everything else is just like they saw shadows of each other, and it's just like, you know, and they're reading each other's letters. So they're not like physically in a space together. They're not physically interacting with each other. It's all like after the fact at a different time and place. And so I think that was maybe part of the disconnect for me. You're is crazy. That I feel like if we had gotten some like physical, okay, maybe then it turns into a completely different book. But if we had like some physical like sci-fi action scenes in which they're literally like their 2 sides are fighting against each other, it's like all like spy covert, you know, action movie type of thing. And then it's like, you know, that you see like a physical interaction of them literally fighting against each other, and then one of them does like one thing where they're like, oh, and then they start leaving the letters to each other. I don't know, maybe that would have made a difference for me, but I just kind of felt like the romance just kind of came out of nowhere. Okay. Like I just didn't buy into it from the beginning. I think that was the problem.
Okay. I get you. I totally get you. Yes, I do get where you're like saying that it was just kind of like sudden, that Red just suddenly was like, oh, I'm like wait, stop, freeze. I think I'm in love with you. But the fact, okay, first let's discuss what you said about them not being in the same room, not being in the same room all the time, and it just being like passing shadows. That was so fucking hot. I cannot like further like there's something about like the tension of being in a place where you know this object of desire was, that I like, I guess I'm just like a true yearner at heart. There is I felt like there was something so romantic about like them being in the same room in opposite times and knowing that each other was there. And like there was a part where I don't remember if it was blue or red, but they were like tracing over their footsteps or where they had been. And like, and then like I pictured you like doing this with this monitor, and like these were the cords that you severed. And I was like, that's so fucking hot, dude. Like there's something so, I was just like, ah! It just constantly felt like a chase, and it just constantly felt like two magnets that you were just like you were just kind of like, okay, and then this slip, and then it oh my god, it was so, I was like eating it up. It was so good. Oh my god, I loved it. I don't, you're crazy for thinking that you needed them to interact in person, because this was more than enough for
It's so funny because I really feel like we got the full range of demographics here for this review.
yeah.
Because the people who want validation for being like, this is the book everybody's hyped about are going to enjoy this part. But then all the people who are like, what are you talking about? This book is amazing.
Yeah, the
Are
romance
going
in
to
it
resonate
is
with you. Okay, you know what? You know what? There's one thing I haven't considered.
one.
It's a sapphic romance. It actually does make complete sense that they fall in love with each other and are ready to throw away their loyalties to their allegiance after a couple letters. It's literally their
Yeah.
equivalent of you hauling it. Like,
Yeah, not only that, but they're long distance, and every good sapphic romance is long distance.
yeah, yeah. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Blue married?
Yes. Or
I
red.
did.
Or
No, I
red.
think it was Blue that was
I think it
married.
was blue.
Yeah, but the thing is that I
Seems like
didn't
you might
know
be
if
right.
she was like legitly
Yes, you're
married
right. Yes, you're
or
right.
if it was like a
Yes.
cover.
No, you're right.
Like
Blue
if
is
she was
indeed
on.
married. Yes, you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I like, I couldn't remember whether it was red that was told about like the backstabbing or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. Blue's married. Yeah. Like whenever we got to that chapter, I literally my stomach dropped. I was like, Romeo and Juliet, forbidden romance. Oh my god. Like I was
Mhm.
short circuiting and glitching because I was like, how the fuck are they gonna end up together? Because they have to end up together. And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's crazy. This romance is this, for all of my people who also like music a lot. If I were to make a playlist for this book, it would definitely have Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan on it. Definitely.
I don't
Definitely.
understand the reference at all, but I feel
It's
like your
okay.
people do.
If you did understand the reference, you would know. There's a part in the song, the bridge, um, the song. I'm just quick tangent because this book is tiny, so we're gonna get through this review really fast. But
We just
um,
talked about half the book already.
yeah. There's so the book is sorry, the song is written from the POV of Chapel is singing to this other character, to this other person, who they were like, they dated at one time, but this other person could not come out as like lesbian, as bisexual, whatever. And so then Chapel like decides to like separate, you know? She's like, well, if you're not gonna like allow us to be together, then whatever. So in the bridge, I'm gonna pull up the bridge. Hold on.
Not the
Okay.
copyright infringement.
I know. Okay. So when you wake up next to him in the middle of the night with your head in your hands, you're nothing more than his wife. And when you think about me all of those years ago, you're standing face to face. You're standing face to face with "I told you so." Is this
Oh.
not so like this is book coded?
Mhm.
So good, so good. Oh, I love it. Okay. Anyways, I loved it. I love the beginning. I love the setup. I love them chasing each other. I love them like longing and yearning for each other. I thought there was something so hot and so like cheeky about them like tracing each other's footsteps, and I ate it up, girl. I ate it up.
I would not be surprised if you end up getting some kind of quote from this book tattooed
there
on your
were
body
there were
somewhere.
a couple parts. There are two letters. I don't have the book with me, but you have the book. I'm gonna need that back. It needs to be in a
Mhm.
proper home where it is properly loved and adored. Um I there are two quotes in there are two letters in this book. where I was like jaw on the floor, just like, this is perfection. Perfection. Are we ready for part 2?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So, Red became paranoid that the agency was following her because she feels a shadow everywhere she goes. Her fear comes true when Commandant confronts her in Russia about Blue and wants Red to set up a trap to poison Blue, since the agency thinks Blue may be trying to turn red. Red tips off Blue and warns her not to read her next letter, and though Blue says she'll comply, she doesn't. Blue fears Red's betrayal will be found out if Blue doesn't take the bait. So Blue eats the poison made just for her. Blue dies an agonizing death as she reads Red's letter. Red throws herself into duties. She is seen as a hero, but really Red moves through time collecting all the pieces Blue left behind. Red uses Blue's DNA to grow a second skin that will disguise her as Blue. Covered in the second skin, Red infiltrates Garden and saves Blue from the poison by giving her the antivenom as a child. She is poisoned by the agency and is tortured and left to die until she finds a note in her cell from Blue. Her plan worked. Blue is alive. The person following her all along, the shadow that caused her paranoia, wasn't the agency, but herself in the future, working to find pieces of Blue to save her. Red and Blue run from both sides indefinitely and build a happy life together, hidden in time. Okay.
We get all the action here.
Yes, the second part is all the action. But also, I don't know about you, but I adored the way they were leaving letters to each other.
Okay, I will give you that. It was very creative because, by the way, these people were not just penning on a piece of parchment with ink.
No.
Okay. No, they
No.
were like ingraining the letters into technology, into organic pieces. Like you had to hunt down a deer and rip out its intestines, and then the words would be there. Like it was crazy how they were leaving letters to each other.
The I believe it was a Blue wrote a letter to Red within the rings of a tree.
Uh-huh.
Be still, my beating heart. Oh my God. When Red wrote, I think it was Red that wrote a letter to Blue with the words in a tea, and as Blue was drinking the tea, the letters came to her. I expect this. I expect this. Okay? This is the kind of like obsession, care, devotion, admiration,
Effort,
yearning, effort I want from a partner. So it makes sense why I was so like head over heels in love with this concept. There's just something so fucking romantic about it. Oh my God. And the fact that all along, she had given her the antidote, and Red knew that Blue was going to to consume this poison with her in her dying breath, and as Blue is dying, Blue is reading this letter that Red
hidden
has
in a letter.
Yes, it's a letter that is hidden in the letter, and the letter grew on a fruit that was growing in a plant. I was dying, girl. I was gasping for air. Like, what do you mean she wrote a letter in a letter? And she's like, I knew you would get this far. Like, I knew you would continue. Please stop. You're gonna kill yourself. Please stop. And she's still going because Blue wanted to know what the letter said. You hated this book
so much. Like, I feel like the most anti-romantic right now because I'm just like,
okay.
I feel dead inside. I was like, okay.
That's crazy.
I don't
This is
know.
yeah,
It did nothing
yeah,
for me. I wish it did, but it did nothing for me.
yeah, that's crazy. I'm trying to think about like what you find romantic.
Not much. I mean, I guess I read a
Yeah.
lot of grimdark, so I guess yeah, characters that don't torture each other.
Oh, you mean torture each other?
Well, yeah, or who stop them from getting tortured by other people.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So like, okay, yeah. Hmm.
How do we both read romance books?
I don't know.
Because like contemporary romance is not
It's
like
not
this at
that.
all. Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, contemporary romance is very cut and dry, which is one of the things I wanted to talk about. I think I enjoyed this book so much because we talked about like the way that it's written.
Mhm.
Um, I had to actively focus on understanding what the book was trying to say.
Mhm.
Like I had to actively put effort in to be like, what are you trying to tell me? Where am I? What is going on? And it's been so long since I've read a romance book that is like that,
Mhm.
where because a lot of romance books now are very cut and dry. It's like here it is, you know.
Mhm.
This is what's going on. This is just what it is. It is what it is. Um, but this one is just you have to like you have to want to actively engage with the text, which is definitely not for everyone.
And I think that's the biggest thing is that like for me, for instance, I'm not good with nonfiction because
Mhm.
I'm the kind of person that I'm not trying to critically think overtly as I'm reading.
Mhm.
I like my
Mhm.
critical thinking to happen subtly. Like I'm stuck
Mm.
in this narrative, this storyline, right? So it's like dialogue, characters, plot, setting, like all of that is working in tangent for this
Mhm.
bigger picture, this bigger message that the
Mhm.
author's trying to
Mhm.
give for the critical thinking.
Mhm.
And as you're immersed into the story, you as the reader are able to have that higher thinking of realizing the things that are embedded in this text
Mhm.
versus it being not straightforward because this book is not straightforward, but where like each sentence is so dense and so heavily
Mhm.
compacted in
Mhm.
critical thinking that
Mhm.
it forces you to go slow. It
Yeah.
forces you to reread. It forces you to like really think about what is happening. It
Mhm.
forces you to read slow. And maybe that's the problem. I love reading fast.
That makes okay. That makes sense.
Mhm.
That would make a lot of sense. I good god. I wanted to like take out if okay, full disclosure, I have the book physically. I let Millie borrow it physically. I was literally about to start annotating on my
Mhm.
fucking book, but I was like, if I give this to Millie annotated, it's gonna spoil our reaction. So as soon as I get it back from you, I will be rereading and I will be annotating this book.
I figured as much, yeah.
Because I just truly I loved it, you know? A lot of the sentences, a lot of like each parts are yes, they are very complicated and yes, they're still like I still very confused about certain aspects of it, but it was just so refreshing to be confused and it was so refreshing to like
It
try
was
to unweave
poetry.
this one. Yeah.
It was
Yes, it was
poetry.
poetry. And
And
like
you
and
love poetry,
I do. And like
and I
towards the
don't.
towards the end of this book, whenever they're just writing about how much they love each other, and oh god, I was literally gonna have like a heart attack with just the way that they were describing themselves and the way that they were describing each other and their view of each other. Listen, if there's one thing I love being perceived. I love when my friends and family know me.
And read
And
you to filth.
yes, yes. And them reading each other to filth in such a romantic way, dead. Dead, gone, dead, ceased, dead, 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 dead. I loved it. Um, the effort in which they would go to give each other these letters, dead. Dead. Done. Literally cooked. Okay. Just it was insane amounts of yearning, the chase, the yearning for each other, the realization, the forbidden lovers aspect, the enemies to lovers aspect, the fact that Blue is married at one point. The fact that Blue was married and Blue was like, I'm actually making my husband coffee right now, but I would love to be making you tea. Ah! I don't know. I love I love being the subject of someone's like
Obsession.
yearn. Yeah. And this gave me that through a
So just
sci-fi.
to be clear, Greta is not looking for a stalker.
I'm
Please
not
do
looking
not
for
find her.
do not stalk me. I'm not looking for a stalker. I'm looking for someone who's obsessed with me in a very healthy way and treats me like kind of like a house cat. Like I will let me come to you. Okay, let
Yes.
me. That's like the best way to describe my relationships out. Let me come to you. I need you to be obsessed with me, but let me come to you. And then you might be thinking, well, then what do you provide? I provide a lot. I provide a
My
whole lot of it.
presence.
Yes, my presence, you would be so blessed.
I think if you're a house cat, I think I'm a rescue chihuahua.
Yeah.
I'm like scared from everything and super needy, and I just want like my one or two humans and just to be
Yes.
with them forever. And I
Yes.
don't like other people.
No. And the
Yeah.
human has to do everything for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
make me special meals because I have dietary restrictions.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, you're a house cat and I'm a rescue chihuahua.
That's so perfect.
Yeah, we just found it. We just found our spirit animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Very yeah. I'm like, please give me space. I need to just allow me to come to you. Make me want you. Make me yearn. If you can make me yearn, in the bag. You have
If you
secured me.
if you can make me food, I'm good.
I'm obsessed. If you could make me feel.
And I am married to who I am married.
Yes, yes. But you know what? He fits the bill.
Yeah.
You guys are so cute. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Okay. Um so all in all, I love this book. If you are a true yearning romantic at heart, this is definitely for you. If you are not, if you like structured worlds, if you like to know what the fuck is going on, this is not for
For you. Okay, you know what? I will talk about things that I did like.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay.
I will talk about
Yes.
things that I did like. Okay.
Yes.
I liked the plot. I liked the
Okay.
idea behind it. Okay. I
Yes.
thought it was definitely very clever,
Mhm.
very original.
Mhm.
I did like the fact that both red and blue, each chapter was different because they were in a different place and time,
Mhm.
different
Mhm. Mhm.
dimensions, all that stuff,
Mhm.
right? I actually do wish that those parts of the chapters were a lot longer.
No,
And
hated those
I
chapters. I didn't hate those chapters. I just wanted their letters. I
exactly,
just
like I know
wanted
that
their
you
letters.
just like the letter. So I think that this
Yeah.
book either needed to be longer and that part was done structured like a more quote unquote traditional
Okay.
way.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you have the letters at the end of every chapter.
Mhm.
Or I think the reverse. The book should have been just the letters.
Okay.
And then the letters could be a little bit longer to include a little bit more of
Mm,
that info dumping.
okay.
Um, but I did like the fact that it was a bit of a chaotic space time
Mhm.
traveling
Mhm.
aspect to it. I liked how different red and blue were in terms of like their backgrounds and things like that. And
Mhm.
I did like the whole confusing part at the end where it's like, is it Romeo and Juliet? And it's like, psych, I gave you the anti-venom as a child.
Mhm. Mhm.
That I did like.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I personally didn't like the execution, but
Mhm.
I know that you love it. And that if it was changed, it wouldn't be the same experience for you.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I liked it. I thought it was so good. I honestly the romance for it carried me because I also was very confused as to what was going on. So like in the setup to like I mentioned there's like a setup chapter and then there's like a note. There's like the letter, right? In those
Mhm.
setup chapters, girl, I don't know what the fuck was going on. I don't know what was going on. I don't care
I
to know what
didn't
was going
I
on.
didn't either, and I needed more information so I could understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What planet were they on?" I was like, "What is going on? Which time are we in? Is
Yeah.
it even our time?" Like, I
Yeah.
wanted those answers.
Yeah. Did not know, did not care.
Mhm.
Whatever. I was like, just get me to the fucking letters. I need to know. I need to know how much they love each other. Tweeting. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was amazing.
Mhm.
Okay. Speaking of romance books, speaking of
I thought
great
you were about to say,
romances.
speaking of amazing.
No, speaking of great big romance books that are taking the world by storm, um, what are we talking about next, Millie?
I like how every single week we get closer to reading this book. We get more and more scared shitless out of our minds.
I
Next
haven't started
week,
it. I
I
haven't
haven't
started it.
either.
I'm
I haven't
scared.
either. Me
I'm
too.
I'm
I'm
so
terrified.
scared. I'm
I
terrified.
I've seen 3
Me
one-star
too.
reviews. Mhm.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
Okay,
One of
next.
my favorite reviewers was like, "Is anybody having a hard time reading this?" And I was like, jump scare.
On that note, next week we are reading and reviewing Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which is Emily Henry's latest book, her 2025 new release, and a little bit different from her previous contemporary romance books. And people have their very strong opinions on it. I will still give it the benefit of the doubt, but I am still scared nonetheless.
I'm scared to the point where like I'm having trouble picking it up.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like there are some books, okay. There are some books where I'm like, "Oh, I'm scared to read this because I'm pretty sure I won't like it."
Hmm.
Okay? And then there are other books where I'm like, "I'm scared to read this because I'm scared I won't like it."
Hmm.
Like I am worried that I am not going to like this because this is my personality.
Hmm.
Okay, yes. And then there are other books where I'm just like, like, the thing is, anything by Ali Hazelwood, I'm going in. I don't care if it's bad, if it's good, whatever. I'm reading it. But I have such high standards for Emily Henry's work that I'm like, what if it's a downhill slope?
I know, it's like our queen, our Lord and Savior is Emily Henry.
Yeah,
Um, Literally, our podcast name is a knockoff of one of her
a
books.
knockoff of her books. Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like we love
yeah.
her.
Yes, absolutely. Whenever we were like, we're coming up with a podcast, we were like, I was like, "Oh, I want to do full book reviews. And then we're like, what are we going to read? I was like, well, romance books.
Romance.
Yeah. Um, and then we were like, okay, well, what romance? We're like, romance with nuance. Emily Henry. Hello? Nuanced romance. That isn't just like, he's hot and tall. And now we're terrified to read the newest book. Normally, I read these like new releases the second they come out. The second they're available, I'm eating it up. I've waited like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. But okay. The episode after this,
Mm-hmm.
we're reading
Tried and
Half a
true.
Soul by
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Atwater, and that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is a it's a kind of a romantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say.
It's yeah, it's more of a like period classical kind of
Mm-hmm.
time frame. Um, but I think that will be a good shift up for us. So
I'm
yes, if you
excited.
guys want to join us for the next episode, you pick up Great Big Beautiful Life, and if you want to join us for the episode after that, pick up Half a Soul.
By Olivia Atwater. Very
Mm-hmm.
exciting. All right. Millie, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on my YouTube channel called Into the Nook, where I read and review books all the time, like it's my full time job, and I get no payment, but that's okay. I just like being a book influencer. And you guys can also find me on my Instagram at Into the Nook Realm. Greta, where can they find you?
You can find me at Greta's Favorite Things or Greta's Fave Things all over the internet, primarily on Twitch. I'm Twitch streaming. I Twitch stream Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. PST. We just finished our Mario playthrough and we're actually about to start. We're about to go into some really fun times over at my channel. I'm excited. We're going to be really playing some really girly fun cutesy games. And I'm so excited for it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's fun times over there. My community is absolutely amazing. But all right, we will be back with our next episode, the long awaited, much anticipated, and feared A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And then after that, the tried and true Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. We will see you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.